Since the middle of the 20th century, a nuclear arsenal has been the guarantee for a state's sovereignty. Even after the Non-Proliferation Treaty, several countries around the world built nuclear weapons, some of them dismantling them later. So it's fair to ask why the arguably most economically and scientifically advanced state after the apocalypse in the Fallout series seems to have no nuclear weapons. In the TV show, Shady Sands was hit by a nuke, and yet they fired no retaliatory shots. It seems that in a world built on the ashes of one where the threat of mutually assured destruction failed to bring world peace, the NCR failed to count on such a threat befalling itself. So why did the NCR never develop nukes, and could it have? To answer our questions, we must first look at factions that did have nuclear weapons throughout the series. The Masters Unity and the Enclave each had a single nuclear warhead in the Los Angeles Vault and the oil rig respectively. It is unknown how the Master managed to acquire an active warhead. Maybe it was left behind by Vault-Tec for whatever reason. Or maybe he got it from the Divide. More on that later. He likely planned on using it to destroy the Brotherhood of Steel if they ever posed a threat to his plan. And it ironically ended up destroying the cathedral when he died at the hands of the Vault Dweller. As for the Enclave, Chris Avallone stated in the Fallout Bible that they launched at She-Town in San Francisco, since that's where the Chosen One's tanker sailed from. The nuke was supposed to hit after the Chosen One left, and contrary to the ending slides, destroyed the She Empire before it could be formed. It's also important to mention that these weapons resemble the Trinity gadget detonated in real life at Los Alamos, and there are no missiles fitted for them in either of the games. As for other nuclear devices, the Brotherhood of Steel, but even less technologically advanced groups such as Tenpenny Tower, the Minutemen, and the Railroad all have something called the Fusion Pulse Charge. However, this device only seems to be fit to arm a gravity bomb or to rig a fusion reactor to melt down like a fission reactor would. I don't really want to get into the science of this MacGuffin. For starters, you cannot even rig a fusion reactor to melt down. However, the real concern is how these factions acquired this item. The Brotherhood could have developed it themselves maybe, but the others definitely scavenged it from somewhere. On that note, what does it take for a nation started with a GEC and basic vault supplies to develop a nuclear weapon? Well, in real life, nuclear fission was first discovered in 1938. 4 years later, the first sustained chain reaction was created, and 3 years later, the first nuclear weapon was detonated. This was the result of research from scientists all over the Western civilizational sphere. Granted, the NCR is a significantly smaller civilization, but they do have access to whatever records remain of the previous one. It's not out of the question that core NCR regions have nuclear reactors, and there are sources of uranium in California. So where is the NCR's nuclear agenda? Well, fortunately for us in the real world, even with the access to the theory of nuclear physics and tons of money, it's very difficult to build nukes. You need highly enriched uranium, which probably even Broken Hills isn't capable of producing, and you'd need to get the engineering tolerances exactly right with no retries. In real life, ISIS obtained about $1 billion, and luckily they never managed to build a nuke. So fine, the NCR probably isn't advanced enough to develop nuclear missiles yet, but what about getting them from somewhere else? There are countries in real life that got their nuclear weapons from their allies, so maybe the NCR could have looted some from pre-war facilities? Maybe this is what the Master himself did? Technically, the NCR did loot an ICBM detonator from Navarro, which they had the courier deliver to the Divide. The NCR probably didn't know what they would find in the Divide, were it not for the accident resulting in its destruction. After such a catastrophe, the NCR probably tried to cover up their involvement in the Divide, and probably didn't send any new expeditions either, having their hands full in the Mojave. Those old world giants, forever out of their reach. I suppose only one question remains. What would change in the Fallout universe if the NCR had nuclear weapons? Would they bomb Flagstaff, the Legion's capital? I don't think so. The Legion is more like a tribal confederation than a country, so even if they managed to hit wherever Caesar was currently camped at, it wouldn't have any effect beyond what you'd see in a playthrough of New Vegas where you kill him yourself. The NCR's other potential use of nukes, which I alluded to at the start of this video, would have been a retaliatory strike against Vault 31. And well, could an entrance like this withstand a direct nuclear explosion? I guess we'll never know. Anyway, I hope you learned something interesting from this video. Something that will haunt you whenever you direct Ulysses' nuke at dry wells or decide to rewatch season 1 of the TV show. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you thought it was awesome, or dislike it if you hated it. Bye.